Are you good to do? Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Something Super Spiritual live in my new studio, my new home, and my lovely new guest, Medium Mari. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties in the beginning. Not my specialty, but we made it. Here
We're
we
easy around
are.
here.
Yeah.
We're easy. So, how you been? How's your holiday month going for you?
It's been good. It's been good. It's been very busy, as you can
Yeah.
imagine. And, I don't know where you're located. I'm outside of Boston, and we've had beautiful weather. It's been 60s and 70s. So I'm like,
Oh,
yay.
that is
So it's been,
beautiful.
yeah, exactly. It's been great. I'm just doing a lot of readings and working and family stuff. So it's a great time of year.
Yeah, this is my favorite time of year, actually. Um, Mari and I like sort of crossed paths or met. You were watching an episode with Anthony, Mikolajeski. And
Yes,
you had
that's
made you
right.
made a comment about something, and it caught my eye. And I think you asked a question, and I responded where I was feeling that you were coming into like TV or much bigger stage or more people, So I still feel that, by the way. Is that happening?
Awesome. Yes, well, it's been in the works for a little while, so I can't say very much, but we are working on it, and hopefully, but yeah, it's honestly, I'm just blessed to be able to do this work, and I love
Agreed.
to be able to help people, and that's why I do it in the first place. So it's a blessing to be able to help people.
It absolutely is. I just came off of I was in Sedona for 12 days, and with my event called Awakened, Immersed, Inspired, and 50 people came. I think it was 51 or 2, but
Wow.
talk about, that blessing of helping people and helping them shift and transform in life-changing ways. It was so beautiful and such an honor to be able to hold that space. So I'm right there
Yeah.
with you.
Absolutely. That's why we do it. I mean, and honestly, that's why I feel like why we're here on this earth is to help and serve others. I mean, it may sound corny and cheesy, but I honestly believe that because what's the point if you're just serving yourself, right?
Absolutely. We spoke a lot about that, it being in service and how it looks different for all of us. I mean, not everybody's supposed to be a psychic medium on a YouTube channel or the TV like Tyler Henry and Teresa Caputo, um, but we all have our purpose, right? We all have our purpose, and maybe it's just here to spread kindness. Maybe it's just as simple as that.
100%. And, obviously not everybody is meant to do this or, like you said, be on TV or whatever it is. But even if you work at the grocery store and you're super nice to the people that come by, like there are people that they're referred to as earth angels. And I don't just mean that like they're really nice, but I honestly believe they're like the embodiment of angels. And they will come up, and I imagine some people in this audience feel the same way. They will come up at times when you really need them, like God forbid you're at the doctor and you're having a situation, you're really worried. And yeah, the nurse is nice, but there's always those people that kind of go the extra mile or say something that just hits you to the core. And you're like, wow, I really need to hear that. Those are your earth angels, and they're here to help, in their own special way. And so everybody, I believe, has their own way that they can support and nurture the people of this planet and the animals, of course.
Agreed. Yes. Mari, for those that might not know you yet, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this role? And is this something that you have been tapped into your entire life, like since the crib, or is this something that happened later in life, like myself?
Yeah, well, like I always like to tell people I was born this way because my earliest memory was, I don't know, I was 3 years old maybe. And I just remember talking to angels and spirits, and I would look up from my little bed and I would see them floating around me. And for me, that was normal because I was like, okay, well, this is just what everybody does. This is just their thing. And then as I got to be a little older, I realized that that wasn't the case. And, when I would go up and talk to trees and animals, that some of the other children thought that was kind of weird. And so I sort of hid that piece of myself, but it never really went away. And, I'm a Scorpio. I've always been interested in tarot and the occult and all these things. But as I was getting older, again, it wasn't really that accepted by society. And so I sort of kind of kept that. I always like to say it was like my dirty little secret. I kind of kept it in the side there. And then I got older. I went to college. I went to school, became a social worker. So I worked as a therapist for many years and had my family. And then as my kids were getting a little bit older, I just kept kind of getting these nudges like, you're supposed to be doing this work. And I was like, yeah, okay,
Ooh.
sure. Like, well, like whatever. Like, I'm kind of a hard sell. So I was like, yeah, like, yeah,
Yeah.
sure, whatever. And then I ended up seeing, over the years, I'd seen different mediums. And then I saw this medium from the UK. And he said, you're supposed to be doing this work. Like, you're a medium. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, no, like that. I was like, that, I can't be doing that. And so that kind of just stayed with me. And then my grandmother passed, and then she started coming to me, and then my aunt passed, and she started coming to me, and they're both like, hey, you're supposed to be doing this. And I was like, I don't know, am I crazy? Like, what's going on here? But it was just those things that were happening. And then one day I was traveling, we were, in the Orlando airport. I was with my daughter and, had to use the restroom. So I went to the restroom, and as anyone who's been in an airport knows, there's like a million stalls. And so I walked into one of the stalls, and in this stall, there was one tarot card. And the only thing the tarot card said was trust. And I literally like looked up at the sky and put my hands in the air, and I was like, okay, I get it. So I guess I'm a little hard-headed. And eventually, so when that happened, I was like, all right, I guess I'm doing the thing. And then I started studying with all, I figured if I'm going to do this, I might as well learn from the best. And so I started studying with, Tony Stockwell and James Van Prague and Thomas John and Lisa Williams and anyone I could sort of get my hands on. And then I just, kept learning and practicing my craft. And then, here I am. I mean, I don't know how long has it been, like 15 years or something crazy. I don't know, probably dating myself. But yeah, so it's been great. It's really been great. But it was something that was always with me, but it took me a while to sort of believe that I could do it.
Yeah. I understand that. I opened up in 2006 after becoming attuned to the Reiki. And just after that first weekend of level 1, it blew me wide open. It ignited all the spiritual senses all at once. And I thought I was losing my mind. And like you were saying, you're getting these messages that you need to do this work. You need to step into this role. You need to step into this work. And I have said so often, it's, when we are supposed to do this, when this is our calling, spirit will come knock on the door. And if we don't answer, they'll go to the back door. And if we don't answer, they'll go to the windows. And if we don't answer, if we're hiding behind the couch saying, shh, we're not home. They're going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming. Yeah. It's very true.
Very true. Yes.
I love that. I love that experience of walking into that synchronistic moment in the bathroom and seeing the trust. I mean, beautiful.
Well, no, you can't make that up. 100% true. And, so I did. And as you probably know, when you awakened, it's sort of like, as soon as you start doing the right thing, everything kind of snowballs. And I'm not saying that it was easy and that like, oh, boom, it just happened overnight, but it was like, okay, you're on the right path. And then and literally I'm almost technologically like illiterate. Like, it's amazing I could even be on here right now, but I stayed up one night till like 3 a.m. and like built my website. Like, I don't know how to do that. So somehow I swear it was like divine intervention, technology streaming through me, and everything just kind of rolled. And I kind of just kept going with everything, and everything fell into place.
Yeah. Yeah. When we are in alignment with our soul, we don't really have to try all that hard. We just have to be proactive. And then it just, like you said, it just snowballs. And when the student is ready, the teacher arrives, and here come, like you said, Tony Stockwell, Lisa Williams, Thomas John. I mean, I've worked with all of them too. I love every single one of them. And it's, and it's interesting too. I like how you said you're making your website, and that's not in your wheelhouse. That's not your, and Spirit just let that happen. I was just saying that same thing. I just did this event in Sedona, and how it came together was so divinely in line. Spirit led this, Spirit did it, Spirit set it up. And for me, to step into that role, I mean, I've been terrified of public speaking my entire life. So my training ground has been this YouTube, and I hadn't even realized it. It didn't even dawn on me until I got there. And stepping into that role and standing in front of 50 plus people on that stage, and then working with them individually and workshops, and it, hindsight's always 20/20. And afterwards, I'm processing the whole week and everything that happened. And I realized I was not terrified. I wasn't scared to death. Like, I was nervous. I was a little nervous, but like normal nervous, but, and all of a sudden, and I feel like Spirit had that part of my wiring offline because it just flowed. And then all of a sudden I was just in it. And so when your Spirit, like you're building your website was like me standing in front of those people talking. And then, it's amazing.
Absolutely. And again, it's a blessing, as I was saying, to be able to do it. And you're right. I mean, I never thought that I would be doing galleries and standing up there and having because believe it or not, I'm actually pretty down to earth. Like, people think, oh, you're a medium. Like, I'm not flying around on a unicorn 24 hours a day. People think you're just like, and some people are, there are some spiritual people that are very kind of like that, but I'm really not. I'm kind of grounded, and, say mom first, medium second. So my kids are always first. And but it's a blessing with that type of mindset to still be able to take that and apply it and help other people at the same time. And I always feel like I do use my counseling background therapeutically when I'm working with people. And so it's a beautiful dovetail, if you will, of the therapy and the mediumship to help bring healing to people.
Beautiful. Yeah. And here we are, and it's, Halloween Eve. Isn't it Halloween Eve? Tomorrow's Halloween. So,
wow, that's right.
Yeah, it's like, let's talk about Halloween. Let's talk about so many people you hear say that this time of year is the veil is thinner. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I would say I'm not God. I don't know everything. And, people say, where do you get your information from? I mean, I believe I'm getting it from spirit, but I
Yeah.
don't have any proof. For all I know, it could be someone on Mars beaming it down to me. I'm not really sure, but in terms of the veil being thinner, I haven't felt that personally. I feel like it's accessible all year round. So it's not like
Yeah.
you better do it now before Halloween or the door's gonna close. It's not
Yeah.
like that. It's just
Mm-mm.
your ancestors, loved ones, angels, guides, they're always here. They're always
Yeah.
around you, anytime. And, I think to say that the veil is thinner now is, I think it's good. And I think it's like good for marketing in a little bit of a way. But I think to know that it's accessible anytime to
Yeah.
anybody. You don't have to be a medium. I always tell people, like, and I'm not trying to put myself out of business or anybody else, but you can connect with your loved ones and your pets anytime. You just have to know sort of the technique on how to do it. It's not exclusive.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same way. I don't think it's particularly thinner this time of year than any other time of year. However, I human beings, our thoughts are so powerful. And when we
Yes,
all work together for the same intention, we can make things happen. So if it might be thinner to some people right now, I think it might have some more to do with the fact that so many bazillions of people think that it's thinner. So we're creating it to be thinner. You know what I mean? We're manifesting that.
absolutely.
If
Yeah,
that
no,
if that's the case,
100%.
that's how
Yeah,
that's how I feel
yeah,
about it.
that makes total sense.
Do you experience paranormal?
Of course I do. Like, and it's funny because my daughter and people always say, are your kids psychic? And, they are because, it is genetic, I think, and familial. And my daughter was talking to me. Somebody was saying, oh, it's Halloween and they had some spooky experience, or, she's planning on traveling and they have these, ghost hunts and tours and whatever. And she's like, I don't know if I really want to do that, because like in this house, that's like every Tuesday. So it's sort of like
Yeah.
it's normal for us. It's just normal that, oh, that's Nana again, or, like the radio will go off or the piano will start playing or things get moved around or, I have lights that go on and off. And sometimes I'll try to be, I know it sounds crazy. My house is not like a crazy house, but if I'm in the room and the lights are going off, I'll be like, listen, guys, do you mind? Can you stop doing that? I'm trying to sleep. I appreciate you trying to get my attention. And they listen and they just let it go. So absolutely. I mean, but I love it. Like for me, it's like, oh, that's so cool. They're connecting. And, I have tons of stories about that happening, but I love living in that world and knowing and letting other people know that, it's not just this. There's more to this world, to this universe. It's not just this physical body, that there's so much more out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it too. When you're picking up things, you could be out for dinner at a really, really old restaurant,
Hmm.
and you're starting to pick up on other things happening around us, um, in the city, like in San Francisco, where, there's just been so much activity and lots of spiritual activity going on those streets, Um,
Absolutely.
do you experience so the paranormal world is huge right now. The ghost hunting shows, ghost
Hmm.
hunters, ghost adventures, all that stuff. It's been about 20 years, I think, by now. What do you think about when they're talking about everything is a demon?
And again, I don't know everything. I'm not
Yeah.
the end all be all when it comes to opinion. Personally for me, I haven't really experienced that. I haven't really had any negative energy or negative spirits come my way. From my understanding, when you get to the other side, it's all about love, you know. And for sort of if you were a horrible person this time around, sort of reviewing what you went through and sort of seeing how you can change it when you're reincarnated. I believe in reincarnation. So I haven't had a lot of experience with that. It's not to say that they're not out there, but I try to stay, I try to work in the light and stay in the light. And that's kind of really what I'm all about.
Yeah, that's been my experience too. I've had a couple bizarre experiences But I don't know if I would call it like evil. You know what I mean? Like we
Mm-hmm.
hear on all those TV shows. And I too, you know, everybody that's coming through for me is coming from that light, you know, that source, that source of unconditional love, that place where, you know, that which we came from. That's, you know, where we're
Yeah.
going back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always wonder, you know, we've got so many colleagues that are doing this work where, you know, they're on paranormal shows and it's, you know, people stuck or,
Yeah.
yeah. So I wonder if, you know, is it because I'm not dialing into it or is it, yeah, I'm totally open and receptive to the truth. I just haven't experienced that kind of negativity, I guess.
No, exactly, and I'm right there with you. And just from learning with different people, like specifically Tony Stockwell, who I love, who
Yeah.
was my mentor for, is still my mentor for a long time. He really talks about like residual energy, like because I don't really believe that souls can be stuck.
I,
Because help them towards the light. Like, who are we? Like, what hubris do we have? I'm gonna help you. Like, we know more than source or spirit. I don't think so. Well, I personally don't. So um, he really talks more about like residual energy, or you might pick things up like that. But personally, I haven't connected with any soul that was stuck or needed help to move to the other side.
yeah. And when I hear things like that, my immediate question is, well, where are our guides and our guardians? Like, where are our
Right.
spirit guides? Where are our guardian? If we took a wrong turn somewhere, why isn't somebody coming to get us?
Right, exactly. They're like, yeah, whatever, you figure it out. That's not that's not a me problem. No, I don't really believe that. So, and you
Yeah.
also have to consider when it's on TV, they have to make it look all dun dun dun, so there's that element as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Guys, we're going to do readings for you shortly. So if you have any questions, I'm going to pull a card for you. I'm not going to go towards mediumship because I'm so exhausted after my move in Sedona. So I'm just going to keep it a little simple with my flashy cards. Mari, you go whichever direction you're pulled to. And you guys, please type in all caps. It's just easier for us to see the questions. You know what, Mari? We didn't say hi to everybody. Who's here with us today, guys? Bernadette. Hi, Bernadette.
Oh, I
Italy and
didn't see.
Queen. Yeah. Susan. Hi, Susan. Alicia, it's nice to see you again. Cheryl. Hi. Janet. Janet says, I hope Sedona was amazing. Can't wait to hear. Yes, you're going to hear all about it. We're going to do a live next Wednesday and talk about it with all the people that want to join us that were there. It'll be really fun.
Awesome.
Subi, hi. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just reading the comments. I was on the other side, so now I see where they are. So that's good.
You know what? Oh, here, Alicia says, let's see this. Alicia says, I relate so much to you and life story, Mari. I'm so glad I have a place where I don't feel so alone and weird anymore and embrace my spiritual abilities. I was told many times I have as well. You inspire me. Yes.
Oh, that's so sweet. And if I could speak to like the weird part for a moment, like I completely get that because most of my life I felt like the black sheep and out of place. I mean, I was the kid again that was talking to the trees and singing to myself on the bus. And so I think it's hard to really feel like you're understood and connected to anything until you know what it is you're supposed to be connected to. And so when I found the spiritual world and working in, intuitive mediumship, pet readings, all the things I'm doing, I was like, oh, now it makes sense. But before, I just sort of felt like, okay, I guess I'm just weird and nobody's really going to ever understand me. And that's kind of a lonely place. So I'm grateful, and I'm grateful also to help Alicia and anybody else to know that you're not alone, that there are people out there like us, and there's probably more than you think, because a lot of people don't want to talk about it, sort of feel like a little maybe ashamed and like, oh, I don't want to talk about this. They're going to think I'm strange. But there are more people out there with these connections than you know, and I think if you leave yourself open to that, they will come into your life.
Yeah, I understand that too. Here's the thing: we're first and foremost, we are fundamentally an eternal being, living, this mortal life in this meat bag, right? And it's not the first time, it's not our first rodeo. So every single one of us is wired to spirit. So we all have intuition. We all can have the psychic abilities. We all can learn to recognize spirit, and and it's not a special gift that only a few people have. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I love that. Was it Alicia? Is she the one that said something about being weird or feeling weird?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Alicia. Yeah, I mean, I get that too. But I love it. So, I'll talk about it all over the place. And if somebody doesn't want to hear it, well, they can change the channel.
Well, it's true. Certainly as an adult, it's easier. But as a kid, like when I was whatever, first grade, it's hard because I was like, oh, when I started talking about it and they're like, what are you talking about? Like, no, I don't see anybody. Like, then you're like, oh, like the shame, like, oh, what's wrong with me? So as a kid and a teenager, growing up with it is sort of like, ugh, if you don't know anybody else that sort of
Yeah,
practices.
sure. And now it's more mainstream. There's less,
Yeah,
I think there's less stigma today. And
100%.
the word psychic can, carries a big bag with it, from
Yeah,
from history.
true.
Alicia says, never felt so normal in my life. I know most of us out here are the same. Thank you. Yeah. We're the new normal.
Right, we're the new normal. I like that. That's true. That's true. And yeah, since I'm in Massachusetts, I was in Salem recently, so there's obviously a lot of baggage up there and psychic energy. So there's definitely in the area that I live, there's definitely a lot of that. So I think now in some ways now it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to be intuitive or psychic. And so
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that. It's better than being looked at like, what's wrong with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with here. I didn't see. Oh, it's back to Alicia. Oh, sure. Oh, Alicia. It's Alicia's day. If I can ask a question, please tell me the number one thing Spirit wants me to know, please.
Okay. It's interesting as I'm sort of tuning into this piece, Alicia, that, I keep hearing about, I don't know if they're clairvoyant, because that's sort of my main thing that I use. So if you see me looking off to my left, it's because that's where spirit is dropping everything in for me. So they're talking to me about your clairvoyance. And I don't know if it's something that you've been working on or something you want to grow, but they're talking to me about really growing that seeing of spirit your ability to sort of see things beyond the veil. And they're saying that that's something to work on and to grow. And they're also talking to me. I don't know if you currently hear a lot of things. I hear some things, not as much as I see. So they're talking to me about really more focusing on that in terms of your growth. And they're also talking to me about you getting out and doing some readings. I don't know if you have considered like going to like a small shop maybe nearby you and sort of supposed to say proffering your wares, but offering some intuitive readings, because they are talking to me about sort of dipping your toe in and getting started with that. And I know it can be scary because when you're starting anything new, it is scary, and you're like, oh, I don't know, is this like, am I getting the right thing? But you have to just sort of trust, as my tarot card said, and let go and just allow the information to come in, because I know that you have the ability to do it. And spirit, I feel, is sort of giving you that little bit of push to get more out into the open, into the real world, and allow yourself to help people.
Absolutely. And Alicia too, I want to there's this feeling that I want to encourage you. I feel like I need to talk about healing with you. I feel like I need to talk about further healing with you. I mean, the fact that you are here tells me you're on the spiritual path. And you are you are consciously working at healing, right? Healing those past wounds, those past traumas, all that which we all are doing for the rest of these lives, right? We're all working on that. However, I want to like there's this vibe around forgiveness that I feel like I need to talk to you about. So let me know if this resonates with you, but I feel like that there is some forgiveness work that you are in the process of. I feel like that there are some difficult experiences where those difficult experiences where, you know, we feel like people don't deserve our forgiveness, right? And I want to encourage you to look at those experiences the best you can. If forgiveness is not possible, I mean, let's be honest, some people can do some really, really, really heinous things, right? Unspeakable. And maybe forgiveness just isn't possible right now. That's okay. But here's the thing. I really want to encourage you to take your power back with regard to those past wounds, those past hurts, those past traumas. I really want to encourage you to focus on where you are today and how much better you are and how much stronger you are because of those bad experiences. Does this make sense? This healing work that we're all here to do continues to lift our vibration. It continues to lift our frequencies. The more we do that self-healing, the more clearer of a channel we become. And like Mari was saying, yeah, I absolutely see you doing this kind of work. I can see you playing with cards, you know, and however that might look, and crystals, like crystals all around you. So yeah, I'll leave you with that, Alicia. I'll leave you with that, my dear. I'm hugging you from here. Okay. Janet. Hi, Jeffy. The grandma I talked about with the ketchup spaghetti recipe came through and it was brown sugar. Oh, I remember that. Question: can you talk about crystals and your ideas of intuition during this time of quiet season coming to light? Absolutely. It's one of my favorite topics. I love the crystals. I love the energy in the crystals. I love when you are working with crystals and you can feel that subtle shift. Like working with the amethyst, you know, like the amethyst is a higher vibe. The amethyst connects us to our intuition. We're looking at, if you're talking about like labradorite is another one that I absolutely love. It's got that like Archangel Michael energy. It's really like a dark navy bluish, but gold. And that's another one connecting to, oh, sweetheart. Sorry, Janet, give me just a second here. I'm coming back to you, Janet. Alicia, I've been abused my entire life by many people, and which fueled the spiritual. Yes. Alicia, I'm giving you extra big love. Everybody give Alicia a little bit extra love here. So, Alicia, I just want you to know you're not here by accident, and this information didn't come through without a purpose. And I feel so deeply that this is Spirit's way of validating you and where you are and the good work that you're doing, the good healing work that you're doing, and the strength in your own resolve in how you can help others in the future who have been there too. Because you know what I'm saying? You know by your own experiences. And when we do find that our traumas and our wounds and our experiences, we all hold a different piece of the manual. You guys have heard me say this before. We all hold a different piece of the manual. And when we've recognized in people those wounds and traumas that we've experienced in the past, we go to those people and say, hey, I have the manual. I can help you through this. I can help you. I'm in service. And I feel like that this was Spirit's really big validation for you, that you are doing the work, sweetheart. Do you have anything to add to that, Mari?
Yeah, I was just going to add 100%. And I think, I want to say you're in good company, because most people don't come to this work with an easy path. Most people aren't like, oh, la, la, my life was just fine. I mean, I think a lot of us have struggled through different traumas and just different stresses, growing up and in our own family of origin. So just know that you're not alone. And then I honestly believe that Spirit sort of gives us these experiences in order to sort of help us learn, like Jeffrey was saying, so that like we've been through that. And so now we know how to help somebody else that has been through that, so from a different perspective. I mean, if you haven't really been through anything and your life has just been, roses and candy, then it's kind of hard to help people that have been through something. And that may be the therapist in me talking, but I think a lot of people who want to heal had to do a lot of work on healing themselves first. And so just know that you're in the right place and that you are doing the right work. And through this suffering, it's like the phoenix that rises from the ashes. You will be able to take this pain and use it to help others in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. We're here with you, Alicia. We all are holding space with you, and we're happy that you join us every week. Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'm going back to Janet. Mari, talk about crystals and ideas of intuition.
Well, as you mentioned that, I had to pick up a couple crystals. I have a jade and I have a citrine. I do have like my little amethyst sphere, but I have other crystals bopping around here that aren't within easy reach. So, absolutely. I mean, I think, they're from the earth, and it's the vibrations of anything from the earth that help you connect to your higher self. So and people say, well, I go to a store, what do I know what to get? What's the right crystal to get? There is no right crystal. It's whatever you're drawn to. Whatever you're drawn to is the right crystal for you. So something that I might like may not be right for you. So it's important that everybody recognizes that to begin with. And we're talking about the quiet season. As much as I am not a snow lover, and where I am, we get a lot of snow, sadly. I can appreciate it's, every time the news comes on, it's like bullseye. That's my house. That's the 5 foot mark. Ah, it's at Mari's house again. So, I don't love that, but I can appreciate, you're talking about the quiet time and how just the seasons of nature, things settle down, the bears hibernate. I do have bears here, which I do love.
Oh yeah.
And so I know I love all the nature. So there's a piece about that. And so the crystals are part of the earth, and they are sort of helping you connect to grounding, to sort of getting back in touch with, with your spirit, with the earth, with the, nature's energies. And so when you're in that quiet space, I feel like the crystals sort of help you connect and sort of regenerate to all of that as well, if that makes sense. It's almost like when I'm working with my crystals, I feel like that extra energy sort of zip zapping into me from the earth. And when you're in that sort of quiet season, sometimes depending upon where you live again, like for here, where I live, it's going to be dark at 4 o'clock. That's a little depressing, like legit. So when you're in that space and you're sort of quiet, for me, I love to connect to that crystal energy, earth energy, to sort of give yourself a little bit of a boost and be like, okay, well, this is all the cycle, 'tis the season, turn. And as we go into the quiet cycle, it's more about going within and sort of connecting with the earth and, everything that is connected to source.
Beautiful. Thank
Thanks.
you, Janet. Thank you, Mari. I'm going to go to Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl. Will you let me know that you're still here? I'd like to know about the rest of the year. Oh, the rest of the year for Cheryl.
Well, I'm seeing that. I don't know if Jeffrey, you had something for her, but I wanted to pull a couple of cards for her as well.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Because I like to use, it's pretty sad. I have one deck that I have lots of decks, but I have only one deck that I use. It's the Psychic Tarot.
I have that one. Yep.
John Holland, and he's actually he lives near here, I think. And so I've just been using this for 1,000 years, but I love it. So that's the one that I use primarily. And Cheryl, I'd like to pull a couple cards for you. Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, the first card that I pulled for you is the waiting game, if you can see that. And when I do cards, I don't just look at them and be like, oh, okay, it must mean that you have to wait. I sort of read them. Okay, I guess that's it. There you go. There's your answer.
Yes.
No, so for me, when I connect to that, I do feel like this is something that there's something you've been working on for a while, and it's slow to process, and you're sort of working and working. So I feel like that you were thinking it was going to happen a little bit sooner than it actually is. So in terms as I'm going through the rest of the year with you, I feel like things are going to be more successful, I guess, in February is what I'm hearing, whatever project you're working on. So that's sort of the rest of the year with the project that you're working on. But I also pulled two other cards. One of them is Love Begins, and the other one is Destiny. And so from this, what I'm seeing, and they're also, one is a 10 and one is a 1. So those are new beginnings. One, I'm not an expert numerologist, but the numerology one is new beginnings, starting over. So, and in terms of the love piece, I'm not necessarily seeing like a big romance or something like that, but I almost feel part of number one I'm seeing is love with yourself. Sort of falling back in love with yourself again and everything because I feel like that you were on a certain path, you were going a certain way, and then it kind of switched because you were saying to yourself, oh no, this is something I feel like I really need to be doing. And then it got switched to a different path and you weren't really sure about it. So I'm sort of feeling that uneasiness. And the love piece I'm feeling again is more about sort of falling back in love with yourself and what you're doing. But I do feel like you're going to meet people along the way, good friends. And I do feel like you're working on your destiny track where you weren't before. I feel like you were going in a different direction, but now you've sort of switched over and you're like, yeah, I think I want to try it this way. And you feel a little unsure about it, but I just want to encourage you to continue going along that path, even if it feels kind of weird. Oh, there, I didn't even see the comment because, bad at technology, but right, the psychic development. So exactly, because I felt like you were doing one thing more like brick and mortar kind of, I want to say. And now you're kind of headed into our realm, I guess, a little bit more of the, the intuitive piece. And I see that for you as being fantastic. So continue along that. And when you start to feel a little, I'm not sure, just take a deep breath and know that spirit is guiding you. And that if you're not sure what's going to happen next, something will be put in your path.
Yeah. Cheryl, I just want to add to that. But when I felt into your energy field, I do feel like the rest of the year it feels really good to me. It feels really good. It feels exciting. It feels joy filled. It feels like there is more community. Wait a minute. Yeah, it feels like there's more of a community that you're involved in, like where you're like a spiritual community, like where you're working with other people. Well, I suppose like you were talking about your psychic development. Yeah, it feels like it feels very exciting to me. It feels fun. It feels joy filled, and I want to encourage you to go into this. Bring your inner child along with you and just have fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. Just have fun with it and witness what you're able to feel and sense and express and communicate with others. It's so much fun. This period where we're really starting to tap into our intuition and tapping into the spiritual energies, and feeling all those subtle energies, and you're saying things that you're landing for the first time. You're landing with other people, and it's just super cool. It's so fun.
Beautiful.
I love it. Okay. I saw one back. Have you seen anything? You want to pick one, Mari?
Yeah, you must be psychic because you're
Oh.
reading my mind. I was like, oh, I'd love to. Yeah, I don't want to take over.
Yeah, go
So,
ahead.
yeah, there's a comment, and I don't know how to make the magic, how it appears on the screen, but from Brandon, he said, I lost my soulmate earlier this year. There you go, everyone can read it. And today is his first birthday in spirit. I made his favorite meal and got him a card and a cake. Do you think he's with me and
Oh.
knows I'm celebrating for him? I love that. I read that, just touched me. So 100%, Brandon, absolutely. All our loved ones, our pets, they can see us. They're with us. I mean, they're not watching us in the bathroom or anything weird like that, but they are very much with us and connecting with us. And I do very much feel like, that your soulmate, that your love, that he's sort of watching over you. And it's interesting because, this is a piece of advice that I give to a lot of my clients, like continue that relationship with your loved one. I know they're not here in the physical anymore, but they are still here. So making food for them or including them at the Thanksgiving table, setting a place for them, it's so important because our loved ones love this. They really do. And many, many times when I'm doing readings, they're like, I was so happy that I got included, that you didn't forget about me or about my birthday or Christmas, and you still hung my stocking at Christmas. So bravo to you for doing this. And I do very much feel like it's funny because I feel like your loved ones coming through and the meal that you made, I feel like almost like he's joking, like that when you would cook for him, that he might make a little bit of fun of you, not fun in a bad way, but just like, I don't know, you could have done those eggs a little bit better. So there's some piece about, there's like a little bit of joshing instead of, a
Playful.
little playful ribbing. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yes. That is coming through about the cooking, because he's talking to me about it, but he's saying he very much appreciates it. And he also said jokingly, he's like, well, I wish you would have cooked for me more when I was here. But, so I feel like he's a really good sense of humor and just so appreciative, and so much love coming from him. And he keeps showing me these little hearts. So I don't know if you have like a heart frame in your house with the two of you together, but I feel like that's a symbol for you. I mean, obviously that sounds super cheesy, but he keeps talking to me about it. So whether there's confetti, or I wouldn't even be surprised if you are walking around the house and you see like a little puddle of water in the shape of a heart. There's some piece he's going to be leaving you those messages in the hearts to let you know that he's still very much with you, because he knows how painful and difficult it is for you. And he's like rubbing your shoulder. I keep feeling him rubbing my neck and my shoulder, almost like giving you like a little massage. So just know that he's very much with you, very appreciative, and that he sees all the things that you're doing for him. And he knows that you're still carrying a candle for him, and he's grateful for that.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
he said that's our sign.
oh, thank you. Well, I saw your message and it was just really touched me, and it's really beautiful. You guys were like such soulmates, and It's such a blessing, you know, such a blessing. And I know like it must be excruciating that he's not here, but just know that he is here, not in the physical, but he's very much with you. And I just feel like he's holding your hand
Yeah.
and he's like, you know, doing this and he's very much with you. So just know that, Brandon. I'm sending you so much love.
Yeah. And Brandon and you guys, you know, our loved ones are actually closer to us in spirit than they were when they are here.
True.
And the relationship absolutely can continue. The bond can continue to grow. That relationship could continue to expand. It's just a little bit different. Well, a lot different, let's be honest, but it's just different. And they love it when we include them. For you to be making dinner how you did, they're so thrilled when we do that.
Yeah.
It comes up, like Mari, you just said, you know, it comes up in readings all the time. And they talk about how, you know, they were there and they saw us setting at the table for them next to their picture leaning up against the candle. You know, I mean, yeah, they're not missing out. They are absolutely not missing out. And you know, are they creeping on us, stalking us in the shower? No.
Well, people ask me that. I know it's weird. People say,
Yeah.
"Did they see me in the bathroom?" I'm like, they got other things to do. They're really not interested in that. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, Brandon, our hearts are with you, and
Yeah.
as are everybody's here. Thank you guys for sending Brandon a little bit extra love.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, it's already 4:54. Where
I
did the time go?
know.
All right, Mari, pick another one, and then we'll pick one more. You pick one more, and then let's do one final for everybody.
Okay. I saw somebody further up. A couple things. Anna Iva. She said, recently I probably met someone during my trip. Do you see this relationship will progress romantically? We live long distance. So Anna, it's interesting as I'm sort of connecting with your energy, you know, I see you have a really good connection with this person, but I feel like it's almost like I feel like this false start, you know, if you've ever like, and I'm totally against horse racing, but if you ever see a horse race and they start and then they're, oh, no, wait, you got to start again. I almost feel that type of feeling of the false start, that you have this sort of intense connection and you're super connected and you have so many things in common, but then it just sort of fizzles out. And, you know, of course, I don't know everything. It certainly could continue, but if you're asking for what I'm seeing, that's pretty much what I'm seeing with this piece. And I also see with this person, it's almost like I feel like he's promising you more things than he's able to do. So it's like, yeah, sure, it'll be great. I'll come see you. And then when something really like, okay, when are you coming? Well, you know, I'm kind of busy. So it's almost feel like that. So I can see where you're totally connected to this person. You have that energy and you really like being with it. It feels very like electric in the beginning, but I also feel like this person is sort of going to be like, well, you know, you're far, and the type of person that kind of talks him out of things, himself out of things. And so I feel like unfortunately this isn't the right match for you, but I want to add that I do feel, and they're giving me the number 6, in about 6 to 8 months, I feel like you are going to meet somebody else who's going to be local to you and someone that's going to be a much better fit and match that you will be able to start something with. So all hope is not lost.
Yeah, and I felt the same thing right away. I'm like, when Mari read the question, my initial flash feeling was that if you were my sister or my very best friend, I would caution you. You know, I would say, hey, hold, step back, give it a pause. Just give it a pause. I can feel the electricity. I can feel the excitement. And like Mari was saying about the false start, yes, I feel like that there is a lot of like promises now, a lot of like saying all the right things now.
Mm-hmm.
However, it just feels like that it's like about like to drop off. You know what I mean? Like it's just gonna slow down and just like, you know, out of sight, you know what I mean? Out of sight, out of mind when you're not in the same space together. I like him. I don't think he's a bad guy. I just don't feel like that he's in that right place, specifically with regard to a long distance. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like Mari said, yes, I do feel like you've got some love swirling around in that field of yours. It doesn't feel like it's this guy, but there is love swirling around in your field. And I do want to remind you that you're worth it. You're so worth it. You're worth the wait. You are worth asking for what you need, what you desire, and, you know, more importantly, your deal breakers. You know what I'm saying? you know what are deal breakers. And it feels like that this next relationship, you know what I want to talk about too? And okay, give me just a second, Ann. Hold on. So here's the thing that I just got hit with. There's this feeling of this next relationship, this next person. I feel like I have to remind you, remind you, this person is not going to need to be coached into a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
This next person makes me feel like that he has been doing the same self-work that you've been doing for yourself. And it feels much more like an equal, much
Mm-hmm.
more like where it's easy. You know what I mean? It should be easy and free flowing. And I love that. I love that feeling of the equality. You're like, we're not having to coach anybody in what it's like to what you need to be in a relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feels a lot better.
Thank you, Anne.
Thank you.
Okay, so one more just for the collective. I want to pull a card for the collective and see what Spirit has to say. And you pick one too, Mari.
Okay. Sounds good.
Oh, interesting. Intuition, what we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's not an accident.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you guys, all of you being here, you're here because you are connected. You're here because you recognize the divinity within your own self. You are here because you are experiencing spirit. You're experiencing your own spirit. You're experiencing your own evolution, your development with spirit, because you are spirit. And intuition is, it's always truthful. It's never wrong. It's when we overthink it that we start to get in our way. Or it's when we like logical override is a very real thing. We can logically override our intuition all day long. It's those subtle flashes. It's those subtle flashes that hit us. You know, we're not thinking about, let's say we're not thinking about racehorses, and all of a sudden, a flash of a racehorse comes through your mind. And synchronistically, 10 minutes later, you are seeing a billboard about racehorses or whatever. And then synchronistically, you meet the man of your dreams who trains racehorses. You know what I mean? That's the synchronicity of spirit. That's how spirit communicates with us. So I love that you're all here. I love that we have these conversations. And what do you have to say, Mari?
I love that. That's beautiful. And as you were talking, like it's all connected, you know?
Yeah.
So if you see one thing, another thing's connected, and you're saying people talk themselves out of things all the time, you know? I mean, I literally have had readings where people were, they were going somewhere and their GPS was saying, turn left on Linda Road. And then the next thing was turn right on Rose Road. And the person they were trying to connect to was Linda Rose. And they're saying, oh, do you think that was my aunt? I'm like, yeah, like, yes, definitely. But they're like, I'm not sure, I think maybe it was just a coincidence. I'm like, no, it was. So we can definitely talk ourselves out of anything. But if you're getting those hits, those intuitive hits, it's because there's a reason. There's a reason, and you need to know those things. And I always tell my clients and people, try not to talk yourself out of it because spirit is trying to give you a message. And my card that I pulled says positive movement forward. So I love this. And I know that we are sort of going into the darker time in terms of the seasons, more quiet, and then the holidays, which for a lot of people are like, ah, but I really take this, and it's an 8 also. An 8 is more for, it's the ellipse, it's the eternity symbol, it's prosperity in a lot of different cultures. So I'm really seeing this as, yes, obviously, not everything is going to be 100% smooth sailing, but I do believe that it's going to be good from here until the end of the year in terms of our personal growth and working on the things that we need to work on. And if we're getting a little more internal in terms of, trying to be quiet or staying home more or anything like that, especially with the weather turning, I do see everybody working on a lot of different projects. Self projects, self growth, whether it's working on your meditation, working on automatic writing. That just came up for me. If you don't know what that is, feel free to message me. It's another psychic intuitive piece that you can work on. So I do feel like that people will be taking, and even if it's something simple like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym more, or I'm going to get out and walk in nature. That's an awesome way to connect with spirit, to connect with yourself and source, because you're surrounded by the trees or nature or anything. And it's very grounding. So I really feel that this card of moving forward in a positive way is talking about each one of us taking small steps in terms of our spiritual growth.
Beautiful. Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Mari, thank you so much for being here with us today.
It was my pleasure. It went so fast. I can't believe it. I'm like, wow, it's already been what happened? Do we have like a time warp? And like all of a sudden, was it like 5 minutes ago we started? So,
Yeah.
thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. It's really been a pleasure. Anytime.
Thank you. I was just going to say, please come back and hang out with us. Yeah.
I would love to. I would love to, for sure.
Amazing. You guys, thank you so much for being here with Mari and myself and Brianna in the background. Thank you, Brianna, for being here and helping us. Annie Bear, I see you. I saw you just popped in, so just wanted to say hi to you as well. You guys, I know you have a bazillion places your attention can be in this moment, and I'm so grateful and honored that you're here with us. So please spread the word. Let your friends know that we do this every Wednesday, and sometimes we add in a Tuesday and a Thursday when we have little pop-ups. So I love you all to smithereens, you guys. Have a wonderful Halloween. Be safe. And I'll give you my address. You can send me all your candy.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey. It was awesome.
Thank you. I'm hugging you from here.